What's good, everybody? It's your boy Lost Angel of Havik. Welcome to this week's episode of Pieces of Me. This week, I want to be telling y'all how I became Lost Angel of Havik. Havik started as a group back in late 2007 and early 2008. We all knew each other. We met on btnhboard.com. It was a forum. You know, we were all solo artists. I'm getting ahead of myself. Rain, Stack, Ness, Secrets, and them, they all knew each other. And I was kind of the last to get added into the fold. I was new to the whole working with people online and everything, and I joined up on btnhboard.com. I was a new Bone Thugs and Harmony fan, you know what I'm saying, and they had a members audio section, so I went there. I was going through it and I checked out this track by Rain called Minimal, and I opened it up. I think the thread was called My Bone Rap, whatever. So I opened it up. That shit was dope. I was like, fuck, this is dope as shit. So I reached out to dude and we talked, and we eventually collabed on Hear My Battle Cry, which is off my first mixtape, straight out of the 301. Through him, he had all the contact information for Ness, which, you know, I already started up a dialogue with Ness, and he also had Seek, and at the time we were working on JNC Records. That was Rain's thing with his brother, and he was just trying to bring us all in. I was loving the idea, and, you know, I wanted to be part of something, so I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So that was how we all, at least how I met them. The early stages of Havik, basically, you know, we weren't really even talking about being a group. You know, after Hear My Battle Cry with Rain, I did another track for straight out of 301 called All I Can Be with Ness and Secrets. That came out dope as well. My quality was fucking terrible back then. Anyway, we weren't Havik until 2007. That was when Rain called me and he was like, I've been thinking about some shit. And I was like, it was good. He is like, I think me, you, Seek, Ness, and Stack should be a group. And I was like, I mean, maybe? I've always struggled with confidence in my music, so I wasn't really feeling like I was on their level. And he was like, nah, man, you got this shit. Like, you got this shit. It should be all five of us. We're going to be a group. We're going to call it Havik. That's just going to be what it is. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So once we decided that that was what we were going to do, we were going to be a group, we started working on what became The Road Ahead. I had a song I did previously with Ness and my homies Lil Nate and Spade called Haterade. And at the time I called it Sipping on That Haterade. And then Rain wanted me to, you know, he wanted me stacking Secrets to get the same mic. So I remember, you know, we all got that, and he was like, yo, like, re-record your shit for Haterade. I was like, all right, cool. So I did it. It turned into a fucking hit. The quality was like 10 times better and stuff, and I recorded it, sent the vocals over to him, and we got that done. Then we did Don't Go, Wildfire, and we Hide, and those were the first couple of tracks we did for The Road Ahead. Lots and lots of fun back in those days, and you know, every chance that we got, we were always working on something new, and in the process I started learning. You know, Rain started helping me out with my harmonies, and he taught me the whole stacking vocal style of recording, which I use now, and which I've used ever since, you know, working on that particular album. And I just kind of added it to my solo style of recording, and just something my dad always taught me, never stop learning. So I just always experimented with my own mixing. But as Havik grew, you know, we finally finished The Road Ahead, and we put the album out, and I don't think really any of us were really expecting too much, other than, I mean, we were proud of the work. We were very, very, very proud of what we had done. The shit was dope as fuck. And we put it out, and I mean, it just took off. You know, people were loving it, and I mean, there was almost as many people hating it as they were loving it, but it was cool. And like, we really just developed a huge fan base. And of course, you know, the people that were hating were, you know, we were on a Bone forum, so obviously a lot of words like clone got thrown around and stuff like that. And it was kind of, the only thing that we took it as an insult was just the fact that we had openly admitted, you know, each of us, if you were to trace our history, we are all influenced by different artists, but the one that we all have in common is Bone Thugs-n-Harmony. So we've never once shied away from the fact that, you know, Bone has always been a very big influence, and that is one of my favorite groups, and I know it's one of, you know, it's a favorite that we all share. Always love some Bone shit. But you know, moving along, we continue making music. We literally went right into Feel the Vibe. We started doing we started working on Mr. Cellophane, and we did Sail Away, Crazy World, and that was around the time, you know, we started bringing other people in, helping us out with, you know, as far as the promo. That's around the time I met Ken, aka Long Way, and Rain moved out to Idaho with our friend Josh, maybe January-ish of 2009. That Secrets had showed me Turn 'Em All Out for the first time, and I think at that time he had already reached out to Rain, so basically they gave me the sample of what we all know now is the finalized hook of Turn 'Em All Out, which, you know, we all do one part, and Rain, you know, does his, and he showed me that, and I was like, here we go. We wanted to follow up We Hot. We wanted to have We Hot 2 for Feel the Vibe, so Turn 'Em All Out was the answer to that. Never in a million years thought that it would be what it ended up becoming, you know. The success we had, Turn 'Em All Out, just took that and amplified it to another level. Now, the mistake we did make with Feel the Vibe, you know, I think it was just off the excitement of being Havik and, you know, having a success with The Road Ahead. You know, we just put out we ended up putting out like almost half of Feel the Vibe before we actually released the album. But we eventually put the album out, and it did well. But again, you know, people were hoping for a little bit more newer material since we released, I think, 5 tracks from the album already. So again, lesson learned. Moving on to The Third Lane, we that was the Problem Child album. But Third Lane was at its genesis a phone conversation. We were already working on material, and we had like a conference call. All of us were there. The group minus Ness, and Ken and Josh, you know, we were all talking about, you know, what we were gonna call this next project, and then Stack was like, yo, Third Lane, bro. Third Lane. And I was like, yo, I like that. Like, everybody's laughing because Stack always says some random shit, and we love him for it. But that Third Lane was dope because I was like, yo, that makes total fucking sense because it goes back to The Road Ahead, and, you know, it's kind of like getting back to that original Havik story. So actually, it's on the Havik Music YouTube. Actually, you can check it out. It's JNC Weblog 1, I think it's called. I'll put the link in the description of the video so y'all can check that out. But it was a pretty dope conversation and fucking hilarious. But we all were working on ideas and stuff like that, and every time we had one, you know, I threw out Dream Life. Stack came up with Ain't Made For Me, Rain, Bring Me Home, you know, Secrets ended up presenting Wartime. So, you know, we kept on throwing ideas into the fold and stuff, and I don't know how many songs we ended up with in the works, but it was a lot. And during that time, we had our first show in January 2010, and that was like the first time all of us had been together, and that show was epic. Good times, good times. Havik, it has been a very large influence on me and my music, and just me as an artist, period. I don't think I would be the person or artist I would be had I not met these cats. So, you know, when you hear us refer to each other as brothers on the records, real life and stuff like that, you see us fucking with each other on Facebook, that's all real. You know, it's definitely, we're a family, and we go through our shit like anybody else. I think we've done a pretty good job of like trying to conceal most of it. But I think we've been through a lot of stuff that I don't think other groups, especially in our position where members are in different areas, for us to have gone through the stuff that we've gone through as a group and as individuals and as friends, personal and business, and still be able to work together and still be able to have that formula that's constantly churning out great, positive, feel-good material. I think that's important. I think that kind of speaks to our longevity, and I definitely don't foresee a future of mine without Havik being in it at all. I'm down to the casket drop. So with that said, Infinity is in the works, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Pieces of Me. Be sure to subscribe. New material every week. You got Minute Mondays on Monday, and you got a new episode of Pieces of Me every Wednesday. If there is not a new episode of Pieces of Me up on a Wednesday, be sure to be checking around, because I will be posting new content every Wednesday no matter what it is. You might get an episode of Pieces of Me. Sometimes you might get show footage if I had a show recently. Be sure to constantly be on the lookout. Last but not least, make sure you sign up on the mailing list at ICUlaters.com. Everybody that signs up on the mailing list gets a free download of my EP, Prelude to Madness. So check a brother out. Holla.
Make no mistake, it's my time.